The first lie wasn't in her words. It was in her silence. Maya had always been transparent with me. She'd tell me everything, from what she ate for lunch to the random kindness of a stranger on her way home. But that Thursday evening, her voice had a different rhythm. Too careful, too calculated. "I'm going out with friends after work," she said, slipping on her favorite blue dress, the one she hadn't worn in months. I looked up from my laptop. "Which friends?" She paused mid-button. "Oh, just the usual office bunch." "You don't know them." Something in me shifted. Not jealousy. Not yet. Just an ache, a quiet, cautious unease that whispered, "She's hiding something." Still I smiled. "Have fun." But my words came out thin, brittle. That night, dinner felt hollow without her laughter echoing through the kitchen. I scrolled aimlessly through my phone, pretending I didn't notice how she hadn't texted once. No "on my way." No selfies, no updates, just radio silence. By 9:30 I called her. No answer. At 9:47 I texted. "Everything okay?" No reply. At 10:15 I saw her active status blink on, then off again. I stared at that tiny green, my pulse ticking faster than I wanted to admit. When she finally came home, close to midnight, her hair was slightly messy, her perfume faintly mixed with something sharper. She looked startled to see me still awake. "You're up?" she asked. "Yeah. Wanted to make sure you got back safe." She smiled, forced, fleeting. "That's sweet." Then she kissed my cheek and disappeared into the bathroom. Should have ended there. I could have let it go. But trust, once cracked, becomes an echo chamber of what-ifs. The next morning, as she showered, I noticed her phone light up on the dresser. "Had a great time last night. You're even more beautiful in person." The message burned through me like acid. I didn't recognize the number. I didn't want to. When she walked out of the bathroom, humming softly, I was still staring at the screen. Her smile froze when she saw my face. "Maya," I said, my voice a whisper. "Who's this?" For a second, she looked like a child caught in a lie. Then she straightened her shoulders. "He's just a friend. From work." "Yes." I held up the phone. "Friends text this way." She hesitated, then snapped. "Why are you going through my messages?" "Because my wife didn't come home until midnight and I found this." Her eyes hardened. "You're overreacting." "Am I?" Silence. Only the faint hum of the ceiling fan filled the room. Finally she sighed, voice trembling just enough to sound human. "Fine. We went out. Just dinner. I didn't tell you because I knew you'd get suspicious." "So you hid it to avoid suspicion?" "Yes." "Maya, that is suspicious." For days we walked around each other like ghosts sharing the same air. She insisted it was harmless. "He's a coworker." We talked about work, about life. That's it. But something in her tone, the quiet defensiveness, the flicker of guilt, made me doubt every word. When I pressed, she grew cold. "If you can't trust me, then what's the point?" That question echoed long after she left the room. What's the point? I wanted to believe her. I wanted to believe us. But once doubt takes root, it doesn't stop growing. It spreads like ivy over everything once beautiful. A week later, I decided to find out the truth. Not because I wanted to catch her, but because I needed peace. So when she said she was staying late at work again, I didn't argue. I waited an hour, then drove to her office building. The parking lot was nearly empty, except for her car. And another. Through the cafe window across the street I saw her. Meh. Laughing. With a man I'd never seen before. Tall, well-dressed, leaning too close. She reached out and touched his wrist as she laughed. That small, intimate gesture shattered something inside me. I could have stormed in. I could have made a scene. But instead I just stood there in the rain, my hands trembling around my phone. I snapped a picture. Not out of revenge, but as proof that I wasn't losing my mind. When she got home later, I was sitting at the kitchen table, her picture glowing on the phone screen. She froze when she saw it. "Who is he?" I asked, calm in a way that scared even me. Her lips parted, but no words came. Finally, she whispered, "It's not what you think." "Then tell me what it is." She looked away. "I just needed someone to talk to. Things between us haven't been the same." My heart clenched. "So you talked to him instead of me?" Tears welled in her eyes. "You've been distant, Armin. Ever since your father died, you barely look at me." I felt invisible. That hit hard. 'Cause it was true. I had withdrawn into grief, into silence. But betrayal wasn't the cure for neglect. It was gasoline on an open wound. "Maya," I said quietly, "if you were lonely, you could have told me. You didn't have to lie." She wiped her tears, voice breaking. "I didn't plan it." He listened and I got carried away. "Did you sleep with him?" Her eyes fell to the floor. That silence was louder than any confession. The next few days blurred into numbness. She begged for forgiveness, said she'd end it immediately, that it meant nothing. But something fundamental had changed. The foundation of trust we'd built over years had cracked open, and I didn't know how to fix it. At night, I'd lie awake beside her, watching the ceiling, wondering if she was thinking about him. And in the morning, I'd pretend everything was normal, because pretending was easier than feeling. 3 weeks later, I told her I needed space. I packed a bag and moved into a small apartment across town. She cried, begged me to come home, promised to go to therapy. But I couldn't. Not yet. Then one night she showed up at my door. Her face pale, eyes swollen. "I ended it," she said, holding up her phone, showing the last text she'd sent. "This was a mistake. Don't contact me again." "I'm sorry, Armin," she whispered. "I just want us back." I looked at her, the woman I once believed I'd grow old with, and all I saw was the ghost of what we used to be. Months passed. She kept reaching out, apologies, letters, promises, but I never replied. Because sometimes silence is the only way to heal. Then one evening, while sorting through old messages, I stumbled upon a photo of us from years ago. Maya laughing, flower on her nose, baking cookies in our tiny first apartment. My chest tightened. I realized that forgiveness wasn't about her. It was about freeing myself from the weight of what she'd done. So I met her one last time, in that same cafe where everything had fallen apart. She looked older somehow. Guilt and time had carved fine lines around her eyes. "I don't expect you to take me back," she said softly. "I just wanted to thank you for not hating me." I took a deep breath. I did hate you. For a long time. But now I just hope you find peace. Her eyes filled with tears. "And you?" "I already have." I stood, placed a small envelope on the table, our divorce papers, and walked out into the cold evening air. The rain had started again, soft and steady. And for the first time in months, it didn't feel like something ending. It felt like something cleansing. Sometimes betrayal doesn't break you. It strips you bare, forcing you to rebuild from the truth you tried to ignore. And when you finally walk away, you realize that healing isn't about forgetting who hurt you. It's about remembering who you are without them.